Good evening. We find ourselves a week before Rosh HaShana, which is an appropriate time to discuss different insights in regards to Rosh HaShana. Two topics that relate to Rosh HaShana, and especially in the mystical concepts discussing the background of Rosh HaShana, is the idea of sleep and the idea of forgetting. Being a person one forgets something. What do these two features mean in a physical sense? And we'll discuss what they mean on a spiritual level and how they'll relate to Rosh HaShana. And how we come out of that sleep. When it comes to Rosh HaShana, how we wake up from that sleep, how we accomplish awakening above, and draw down a new energy for the new year. Starting on the simple level, everything starts from Pshat. In the world in general, there's Pshat, there's Remez, there's Drush and Seid. Pshat is the literal meaning, then there's Remez alluding to something, not directly literal. Then comes Drush, anthology, then comes Sod, Kabbalah. Then there's Chassidus, which is different than Kabbalah. It enhances many concepts in Kabbalah, but it's not considered a commentary on Kabbalah. It's a world for itself. They're relating to the 5 levels of a person's neshama, Pshat, Remez, Drush, Sod. These are the 4 levels that are Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, Chaya, and Yechida. And 4 are Chaya, the 4 levels, and Chassidus is Yechida. Okay. Yechida actually gives an insight in all the 4 levels.
What's Kabbalah?
There is a Kabbalah is Chaya, and then Chassidus is Yechida. There is an interesting talk from the Rebbe in late 1965, let's put it for 66, Yutas Kislev. It's called on the essence of Chassidus. The Rebbe chooses the verse from the beginning of the prayer book. Meidani lefanecha. And this Meidani lefanecha, the Rebbe explains it on 4 different levels. And the Rebbe asks a question on each one of them, and then according to Chassidus, it answers all the 4 questions. So therefore we'll literally, since we find ourselves in the physical world, so therefore we'll discuss first the what it means sleep. What is the state of a person when one sleeps, and what actually takes place then? And then we'll look at it on unique qualities that are in sleep, in addition to how it is in the higher world, also in a way that there's certain deficiencies, and then also why does a person need to sleep? Why is there a need for sleep? Why can't a person go on without sleep? It's told in regards to King David that he slept very little. Shinasus, Rav, others, they slept very little. On the other hand, it's mentioned in Halacha, in the Jewish law, that when it came to the rejoicing in the temple, by the time of Sukkot, so it says they didn't sleep. So the Gemara says, how could you say they didn't sleep? 7 days they didn't sleep. It says that if a person says a promise, he makes a vow, that he won't sleep 3 days, they immediately beat him for that. They give him lashes for that, and he has to sleep right away. In other words, it doesn't even take place, the vow. It doesn't have any legitimacy. So the question is, why does the person need sleep? I mean, everything, the Almighty could have created it in a way that a person is infinite, without any schedule, without any breaks. Okay, so the first thing is, the physical state of a person when they sleep is that they're lying. They're laying on a bed or on a couch. When a person lays on a bed or on a couch, the head and the feet are equal. They're equal. When we speak about the head and the feet, it doesn't only mean the head, physical head, but it also means, as we'll mention further, what takes place in the character traits and the intelligence of the person while the person is sleeping. It is basically that the intelligence and the hands and feet of the person are on the same level. That is basically what is taking place when a person sleeps. Head and feet are equal. And therefore, when we say head and feet are equal, this is not the way that head is higher than the feet, which usually a person, when they walk, when they sit, Usually the head is higher than the feet, which means also in a more looking at it from personal character traits, we say the head is higher. This means the head is more unique. The head is controlling the body. The head is the brain of the body. When you say a person is sleeping and the head and the feet are equal, that means that there isn't one. The head does not stand out more distinguished than the feet. The Talmud tells us that when it comes to sleeping, it is considered like 1/60th of after 120. After a person reaches 120, so this is considered 1/60th of death. The idea of sleeping. And therefore, when we get up in the morning, we say, Hamachazir Neshames Levgorim Meisim. We make a blessing that Hamachazir Neshames, that the Almighty returns souls back to dead bodies. Levgorim Meisim. It's 1/60th of that. So this is basically facts in regards to sleeping. Now the question is, what are the unique qualities of sleeping? Before we get on to discuss what they signify in the higher worlds, in the attributes, and in the body of the person, what takes place in the physical body of the person. So there's a talk from the Rebbe on the 11th of Nisan, happens to be the Rebbe's Yom Haledes birth date, 1982, that's the day the Rebbe became 80 years old. The Rebbe started to speak a little of what is the idea of sleep. So the Rebbe says, when a person goes to sleep, he is giving an account of everything they accomplished every minute, what they did through the day. And when he does that, his sleep is in the right format, is in the right manner. The sleep is, which means that the sleep is also a part of his serving the Creator. Because what the purpose of the sleep is, a person should change their energy and should receive fresh energy, getting up in the morning fresh and strong. And then the Rebbe continues. We look in our sages tell us, Isa b'Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. It says in Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, these are chapters of a great sage called Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkenas. This Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkenas has an interesting history. His father did not study Torah. And he taught his son, before he became a scholar, he taught him how to do farming, and he was responsible for the farming and everything. One day, Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkenes dropped everything, dropped the whole farming, left his father's house, and went to study Torah. And he became one of the great sages. But Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkenes, Rabbi Eliezer, the son of Hurkenes. When he became a sage, but his father knew that he left him, he was very upset. And when he wrote his will, he says, I'm excluding this son. One day, there was a big gathering that sages, the great scholars of the city got together, and Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkenes was going to speak. And his father was invited, not knowing who this person is, who's going to speak. And his father came, and he was pleasantly surprised seeing what great sage his son became. And he then, if I'm not mistaken, he then changed his decision and included him in his will. So he put together about over 40 chapters of different, it's considered like medrash, anthology, of different facts that the only source that we have is from this Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. And this Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer mentions, for example, that Avraham Avinu's bris was Yom Kippur. According to this, it now wasn't Pesach, it was Yom Kippur. And other facts about that are mentioned in our sages. So one of the things that is mentioned in Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer is when the neshama goes up after sleeping, it draws new life. It draws spiritual life in the higher heaven. And it is learning things that it learned here, but it's learning it on a higher level. Which means basically it is elevating on the level of the studies that it did in the daytime.